For plebs, by plebs, dropping the Bitcoin only signal. Pleb Underground. Welcome everyone to the Pleb Underground.
Pleb Underground, episode 30. First they play fair and then they fight dirty. Trust don't verify applies to people too. How can you be certain who will come through and who will let you down? This world is too clown. In life you only get what you put in. How do you know what's on good footing? What's truly stable depends on your measuring stick. You studied Bitcoin for hours, but when did it click that with Bitcoin we can finally make the net work? There are no tokens, just UTXOs on the network. No coins, but gotta keep your keys safe. The game's not straightforward, gotta hit the strafe. Don't expect to get rich quick. This ain't no woke Netflix flick. Now Phil calls this a rap, but I call it a rhyme. I don't care if you clap, but the words should be on time. Herbal on tap, can't force it, no crime. It's as it seems, no trap, still got a way to climb. Sometimes my words are literal, but often there's further meaning, working towards that reciprocal, but never reaching the ceiling. Life is what you make it, avoid being too terse. Self-custody, don't stake it, too much meta in this verse. The words that I type, you can't see the font, but they keep flowing freely like the water from a font. It's important to be real, don't put it on a front. It's okay to be toxic, but no need to affront. I've always been a fan of etymology. Now my bars got NGU technology. The realists know us hodlers set the floor. I'm not new to writing, but here's my first 44. 44 bars, but I'm not stopping there. Under 4 stars, and we're not copping share. Over more bras. Steaks, medium rare. 44 cars, then they all stop and stare. Now that's 48 done. Gotta lift some weight, hun. Gotta stack them plates, son. Then you rack the day, bun. Okay, stop. That was 52. Couple more, they're swiftly due. Bitcoin's for anyone, it's simply true. But not for everyone. Some don't have a clue. Is he really still going? He's soon gonna trip. Little new liquidity. There's barely a drip. Right here, no corporate sponsored censorship. Each episode we just let it go and Phil cleans up the clip. Time to empty the clip, empty the magazine. This is real pleb media, not Bitcoin magazine. The SEC is coming for the unregistered broker. You'll soon see Ricky Hartin living La Vida Broker. Keep stacking each day, just quieten your fears. Zoom out plenty, count not weeks, months, but years. Chill at the yard with your bread and bun. 64 bars when it's all said and done.
Walton, that was absolutely epic, man. Frickin', I know I call it a rap. I guess that just shows my age. But man, I really got to hand it to you. It's really, really a great job. And yeah, man, I think it psychs everybody up.
I mean, we have to all work on that NGU technology in whatever, in something, right? Like, right? I like this little craft I've been working on. If any of you out there appreciate it, yeah, good. Yeah, but nice. Even if you don't, I don't care. Like this is something I've been enjoying the process of doing. Working on something, little bits here and there. It's important to have a few of these things in your life. Like you should be doing it for your physical fitness, something creative, something that's making some income. Like you should have a few different pursuits, and work on evolving them. Work on that NGU technology. And so 64, the first of the numbers this week, Phil. But what are the rest of the numbers?
Well, before we dive into the numbers, welcome back to the Pleb Underground. All right, we are moving on over to the numbers.
Yeah, the numbers, of course, brought to us by Timechain Stats and Timechain Calendar. Please check them out.
At the time of this recording, the block height is 780,182. The Bitcoin price, 19,964. Sorry, that is the fiat exchange rate. Total public Lightning capacity, 5,378.94. Kind of at a standstill there on the public Lightning capacity, but we don't know what's in the private channels. Anyways, Moscow time, 5011, and the chain rewrite days, 738. Walton. Those are some pretty grim numbers.
Yeah. So one thing on
every week.
one thing on Lightning, and I'm marginally talking from, well, I am talking from personal experience here, but I'm pretty sure there was a DDoS attack on Tor. And just, there's shitty weather in the northern hemisphere, and so people's nodes go down intermittently sometimes, and so sometimes channels then get closed because people don't like other people's nodes going down, that sort of thing. It happens to the best of us, especially those of us that don't use a UPS. Yeah, and so actually, like, I've actually been taking some funds off Lightning because I've just not opened new channels. I've just sent it to cold storage instead of opening another channel.
Well, you and I should open a channel together.
I don't know if there's a trend. I personally have no impact on the macro numbers of Bitcoin moving around in any way, shape, or form. But maybe there are other Bitcoiners like me who were kind of aspiring node runners 18 months ago. Or 2 years ago now even, that have since gone, actually, if you want to be a node runner, you do need to have some pretty decent, to be a routing node, I should specify. To be a routing node, you do need some technical skills, and it does require time dedicated to it on a regular basis, which not everyone necessarily has. Yeah, maybe. So I don't know. I could be completely wrong about this, but yeah.
No, I think, you know what, that kind of speaks to the UX and where we are right now. Like a lot of times I'll log into something like, my RTL interface.
It's less about UX, sorry, more about the fact that you have there's competitive advantages to being a routing node if you have some of these technical capacities, and so therefore you can make better yield in Lightning. That is true. I know it's a dangerous word, right, Phil? But like, it's true. You're getting paid for for routing payments.
So wait a second. You're providing a valid service.
Yeah, providing a valid service and getting paid for it.
Oh my God.
In a competitive. I don't know if you can call it a truly free market, but anyone can fire up a node and start opening some channels.
The shitcoiners can really learn from Lightning, huh? Is what you're saying.
Yeah, but like I don't know, just leave it alone. I think Tarot is an example of shitcoiners. I think learning about Lightning, right? I think one of the problems that is probably why LND isn't the most stable. Is probably because Lightning Labs have been focusing on Tarot and not focusing on LND. I've said this a few times, and I don't necessarily have much to back it up, other than the fact that it's about incentives, right? That they're looking to get paid, take some of that cheap fiat money, shitcoin money. Tarot is a way to do it. You
know what? Speaking of incentives. Right, we're going to take a look at a video, okay? The video that was on Twitter for a Bitcoin ad, and I think this is just absolutely amazing. So here, let's dive into it. Let's take a look.
Actually, I think I saw this because someone said, "Have you seen the new Bitcoin ad?" I was thinking, what do you mean the new ad? Like, there's no central group putting out Bitcoin ads,
right? That's what we thought, and yet somehow, all right. So here we go. At Kinetic Finance put this out. Now, I don't know, did Kinetic Finance make this? I don't even know if he made this, but either way, let's take a look at this. It's 1 minute long, and it is absolutely, well, I don't want to taint people's opinions. Let's see what they think.
Yeah, I watched it and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, right? But leave us your comments in the show notes. Let us know what you think of this clip. Okay, here we go. This ad, I should say.
What is this archaic system?
Mother's maiden name? Evowid?
You're telling me this guy is how things get verified.
That's my job.
I'm just saying, you shouldn't have to buy $10 worth of gum if you just want 79 cents worth of gum. Why do you get charged your money to take your money from your account? And if you're out of money, they charge you for being out of money?
What?
An overseas transfer takes 5 days?
Business days.
Why?
What are they using? A Zeppelin?
I deposited the check Monday.
But Monday was a bank holiday.
Why is this the way it is?
A bank holiday?
This system
What's a bank holiday?
makes no sense.
This makes no sense.
Who designed this system?
Ma'am?
Is this really the best we can do?
Hello?
Don't we deserve better?
So I'm convinced it's an advert for just some new bank, and then they're pretending it's an advert for Bitcoin because it should be an advert for Bitcoin. And it really is an advert for Bitcoin. Although we should actually say advertisement. This is a very lazy practice in the English language that has started happening, where people use the verb as the noun instead of using actually the full noun. The same happens with invite and invitation. People say, would you like an invite to this event? They actually mean, would you like an invitation? Invite is a verb, invitation is the noun. There we go. And now, please welcome my favorite spider. The best thing about Bitcoin is there is not one single insider. T, what's up, man?
Yo, how you doing, brother?
Yo.
That's right. We've got HodlTarantula here joining us from an undisclosed location.
Decentralized liquor store.
Decentralized liquor store. See, this is how we roll at Pleb Underground. Okay. Anyways, back to the video, which unfortunately HodlTarantula did not see, but we're gonna add our comments and then gonna move on to the numbers. So look, I gotta say that video made me very bullish, especially the current landscape that we're seeing. And I find it I think that we should all be impressed at the fact that a video of such quality that was also entertaining and educational, let's be honest, because it's actually showing what quite a few people really do go through and think about the current banking system. I mean, this was really well done, and there is no Bitcoin corporation. So some individual or some company took it upon themselves to...
Do you not think my theory is valid, Phil? That it could be like a new bank ad that has then they've just chopped off the thing on the end and put Bitcoin instead. I think like that, to me, that's pretty how it's they've open sourced the ad and turned it into something better. So very much in the spirit of Bitcoin.
You know what? I think you might be right. Maybe that is what happened. Okay, so
listeners, viewers, if you know more, please tell us. Find out. Reach out to the show. We want to know more.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We want to know more, and we want to understand, because I do agree with you. I mean, that was incredibly polished, like way too professional. Okay, HodlTarantula.
I want to see this video.
Did you? So you didn't see it yet?
So this was this like ad for Bitcoin where they're basically just all these people complaining about the problems with legacy banking.
Exactly, right? Like it, showing essentially people, having a bounced check and then having to pay a fee for having a bounced check, right? The current system that just pisses us off, that pisses us off so much, and all these weird little.
Well, you get fined for not having any money.
That's right.
So like, how are you going to pay that?
That's right. Or you have to answer a series of security questions to be able to move more than some arbitrary amount of money, because they decide. So, and then if you've moved too much of that money in the same month, bad. Now you have to wait. You've hit the cap. You got to wait.
And eventually their argument, Phil, is always, well, it hasn't happened to me yet.
You know something? I remember thinking like that, and that is pure ignorance, because once it does happen to you, you realize how big and how terrible of a problem it was. I know this is going to sound stupid. I actually think I'm very fortunate that I had so many problems with the banking system so early on in my life. Like, it started happening to me around 18, 19 years old. So I got a lesson really quick in how much you are not the customer. You are not the customer. And they will not hesitate to freeze your funds, even if you have absolutely nothing to do with the problem that occurred. Your account will be frozen and there will be zero fucks given.
So it's from the I think Kobesi letter, something like that. The US now has a record 16.5 trillion in household debt, 11.9 trillion in mortgages, 1.6 trillion in auto loans, Record 986 billion in credit card debt. Total mortgage debt is now more than double the 2006 peak. Meanwhile, 36% of Americans have more credit card debt than savings, with balances rising at the fastest pace since 1999. And this is all while mortgage rates just hit 7.1% and credit card debt rates hit a record 24.9%. So we are literally fighting inflation with debt. Like that's not just that's households, that's companies, that's countries. Like no one has a plan here, and they're all just pretending to.
Those are some really brutal numbers, and I think that tweet hit the nail on the head. I mean, we are trying to print our way out of a problem that we printed our way into. I mean, it's full stop right there. That doesn't work. I forget what the exact quote is, but it goes something along the lines of, the same mind that created the problem can't create the solution. So
That's Albert Einstein, sir. That is correct.
There you go. Thank you. I appreciate that. See, Albert Einstein, he was right even back then. Well, I mean, he was right about a lot of things back then, but
and yet the brain is the only thing that named itself.
Word.
But it is, I mean, look, it is kind of strange, right? I mean, why do we even believe these people? I mean, we know that the money printing caused the problem to begin with. Why would we think that somehow printing more money and playing this like musical chairs game with the interest rates, why do we think that works if it's never worked throughout history for any extended period of time?
Hey, be careful when you say we. I don't believe any of them assholes.
Phil, I think it comes back to this thing people call cycle theory, right?
And inclusive. Oh, sorry.
Phil, it's about cycle theory. It's about the idea that, good, what is it? That good times create weak men, and then weak men let bad things happen. And that's the time that we're currently in. And I think in general, if you look like a lot of these kind of monetary cycles match these, what's the term? Stacked generational cycles. So that is kind of what happens. That it is the weak men that let the money get diluted the most. I actually saw some slightly crazy chart the other day that showed, and this is maybe slightly controversial, and I don't know why it didn't start before then, but from 1972 onwards, it showed essentially globally the world has been run 0% by women to now 20% by women since 1972. And I don't know if that is as a consequence of weak men. If there are no good men to lead, then strong women will step up to fill the gaps. What I don't know. What are the consequences of that? Who knows? But yeah, an observation.
Could be a bunch of soy out there packing, man. That's the consequence of that.
But no, you know what? To your point, right? Like that is a very deep and kind of gray conversation, because let's be honest, right? Like we also had at that time we got taken off the gold standard. So why does that relate to that? The World Economic Forum was created around that time. Like, there's a whole bunch.
So I mean, you could argue that women in general have greater communist tendencies, and coming off the gold standard enables more communism. It's just a fact that women are more caring. Communist tendencies come more naturally to them, and that's why they make better mothers. Like that's why they make better, nurturers and this sort of thing.
You just took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say,
different people are better at different things.
There, yo. That's it.
Yeah, I think the problem, the main issue that we have, and we can see it is that the work, quote unquote, the mother's work is not properly valued by society, not realizing that properly raising children makes decent human beings in the future, and this is what you want. And unfortunately, that somehow, I think it has to do with the corporate-owned media and narratives. Like it just totally got freaking.
Wait, if you look into who actually sponsored a lot of feminist research and kind of feminist publications. I believe Rothschild is part of that. Now, Rothschild benefited from the debasement of the currency. For them to push feminism helps to gaslight the population into believing that it's empowering that women have to work, rather than the fact that now both adults in a household have to work because inflation is so terrible. This is what it's about, guys. Like, I'm sorry, but it's just it's a fact. Like, this is and it's one that had me for a decent while, right? You thought, okay, yeah, it's good. Women are doing things. They're contributing. Okay, maybe I'll let some women split a meal. But wait, this doesn't seem quite right. Well, there's something wrong anyway. Yeah, like, I don't know. I think it's sad. I think it's really sad that, like, motherhood has been demonized because the state wants to be mother to all.
Well, not only that, but they essentially, if you really take a look at the mainstream narrative, right? They've kind of like debased what motherhood is. I mean, dudes, and not that I want to get into this, but like, dudes can't get pregnant. Let's just be honest. And the reality is that they're trying to feed this ridiculous psychotic narrative, right, to try to like take away womanhood from women. Like that is so strange and weird. I can't believe anyone's falling for this crap.
So again, I have a theory about this.
Man.
Oh,
I have a theory about this. If you basically I'm careful about the wording here, but if you essentially, you can kind of push people down. You can make people give up a little bit because they just think everything's a bit ridiculous. You can what's the term? I've lost the word, but you know what I mean? Like, you can kind of erode people's...
Denigrate them?
Yeah.
Denigrate them?
People's...
Keep
like,
in mind,
normal people with based values are starting... or many of them are starting to kind of question them because they're being kind of beaten down and increasingly... I saw some clip, like... There's a whole bunch of women that think that being judged or like judging others is the worst thing. That like you can be a complete fucking degenerate, you can do OnlyFans, you can smoke crack, but if you're someone else who's judging that person, then you're worse, like morally. And I think this is a lot of the kind of demoralization of bad behavior is being pushed by central powers. Why? Because if it wasn't, society, people would have to acknowledge how widespread swathes of mental health problems are, and start questioning, well, why is that? Oh, probably it's because nuclear families are falling down, everything costs so fucking much, so people can't support each other, and they're losing the plot, and they're taking all the drugs and questioning everything about their identity. Excellent, good job, guys. Like, fuck this. Like, seriously.
Hey, HodlTarantula, what are your thoughts before we wrap this segment up?
Dude, it's the state wants to be your mom, plain and simple. And people, what they really need is they need daddy to come in and give them a spanking and let them know that personal responsibility is the way in the new counterculture, and that if you ain't on board with it and getting sovereign, you're gonna get into our next segment, which is REKT.
Yeah, thank you. And so, ladies, if you do need a spanking from daddy, please call HodlTarantula and he'll be very happy to help you out. So,
awesome. All right, guys, we are moving on over to REKT.
Up next, we have REKT, sponsored by Represent. Represent are a phenomenal apparel brand from California. They're one of the last based companies in that state. They make some very cool stuff. They're owned by a Bitcoiner. If you want to check them out, please head over to representltd.com, where you can buy some great items, and if you use the code PlebUnderground, you get a discount, a mystery amount. So once again, representltd.com. Check them out. So for this week on REKT, we have a few stories. I'm going to start with some of the funny ones. I'm going to share a couple of little things here for you guys, and then we can have a little chat about them. I like to just laugh at shitcoiners or fiat people. It's all the same thing. So first, we're going to laugh at Peter Schiff. So when was this? Back in January, Peter Schiff said that Bitcoin has failed to live up to the hype, and those institutions that put a toe in the water last year are not likely to take the plunge. This year, most will opt to cut their losses and sell. I doubt Saylor and Nayib Bukele have enough dry powder to keep the market propped up. And then a couple of months later, Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, responded with, "How's your bank going?" Of course, Peter Schiff got rugged, and his bank was not doing too well. Now, next. Some guy spent a shitload of money trying to recover Bitcoin, but actually it wasn't real Bitcoin. It's fake Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash. He didn't verify what it was, or when he did, he found out that it was the Roger One. REKT. So guys, some funny REKT. What do we think?
I gotta make a comment about the Bcash guy. I think he's like 1.6. I think in the article it said he had $1.6 million in debt after this whole entire thing, and all he's left with is a wrecked shitcoin. That honestly sucks.
Yeah, because actually, he spent money to try and recover something that he thought was going to be, worth a lot of money.
So this again, right? When we talk about the real Bitcoin, it matters, okay? It matters. BTC is not BCH. It's not BSV. This stuff is garbage.
Why does this happen? It's because Bitcoin.com is owned by some of these wankers, right?
Well, yeah,
and
exactly.
so therefore the affinity scam starts with the URL.
That's right. It starts with the URL. It starts with the fact that, in a lot of these people's Twitter bios, they put BTC and then they're shilling you some garbage that has nothing to do with Bitcoin. The other tweet that you had there, I don't think that problem has gotten solved with Peter Schiff's bank. I feel like that's still up in the air. Do you know?
I think he's really off Ship Creek.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. And you know what? It's funny that you're talking about this. And I apologize if you're going to bring this up, but did you see the tweet from Paul Krugman? Or are we going to look at that? There was a tweet from Paul Krugman complaining about Venmo and not being able to use it.
That's funny. This is the same guy that said that in 2005, I believe, that the fax machine was going to be more significant than the internet moving forwards, or something like that.
That's right.
And
in
Nobel-winning economists really aren't all that. And actually, I don't believe the Economics Prize was one of the original ones. It is a shitcoin of the Nobel Prizes.
And not only that, but in 2015, he said that what is Bitcoin doing that we can already do now? And the irony of him being having problems, sending money with Venmo. It's like, no, you see, that's what Bitcoin fixes. It's like right there. Oh gosh, it is just absolutely brutal. It really is. And these guys, man, they just do all these self-owns. It's hilarious.
Okay, guys, up next on REKT, the price. No, wait, the fiat exchange rate. No, wait. Yeah, the fiat exchange rate. Okay, why is the fiat exchange rate getting wrecked this week? Well, I think there's kind of two factors, and I'm going to show you both of them. The first one, of course, it's the US government dumping Bitcoin. That's nice, isn't it? Well, actually, it is nice because it means that it's cheaper for us. It's a good thing, guys. It's not wrecked. It means you get more sats. Thank you, US government. Thank you for selling your sats, you fucking retards. Now, the other thing that's been tanking the price, Silicon Valley Bank. Why? Because it's not good. It's really not good. So basically, Silicon Valley Bank just like what were they called? Silverbank. They bank all the shitcoiners, and but they also bank for the startups, or do they? So, Peruvian Bull did a little dive into what's on the balance sheet of these guys. Blah blah blah. Let's have a look. So they've got, supposedly it's going to be lots of holdings for these startups, right? And equity of the startups, right? That's what you'd expect for a Silicon Valley bank. Now let's have a little look. Blah 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 blah. Boring. Let's get to the good bit. Okay, here we go. They hold what? They mostly fixed income. But I thought they're an investment bank investing in tech startups. One sec. Okay, so they're holding a ton of treasury and MBS paper. So MBS, you guys remember the Big Short in 2008? MBS, mortgage-backed securities. This Silicon Valley bank is holding treasury and MBS. And, but they're going to get a lot of yield on it, right? Oh, no, they're getting 1.44%. So that's negative in real terms. Oh, wait a second. How much do they actually owe? Their liabilities are 195 billion, and they've got 2.3 billion in cash. Oh, and their customer deposits meant to be 173 billion. So their reserve ratio is 0.013. That's like 1.3%. Yeah, 1.3% reserves. Oh, so okay. They've got 13 billion in cash and cash equivalents, but actually, it's only 2.3 billion in interest-bearing cash. Like most banks, they call treasury securities cash equivalents, even though they're not yielding anything, or maybe even negatively yielding. So basically, everyone's a fucking liar, and they're all holding really shitty bonds.
Bunch of whores.
Live and let die, I guess.
Straight up.
That is just
I'm
absolutely
burned.
brutal. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they lost like over, I think it was like 50% of their share price in a day. They were trading at like $700 last week or something like that, or 2 weeks ago.
Yo, legit. I was watching Fox Business this morning, dude. It is absolute train wreck. They're down 75%.
Holy shit. I mean, and like you could see that, man. This was like in 2 candles, like 2 or 3 daily candles.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just absolutely brutal.
But
look,
why is this? It's because they've got a bunch of shit. They've got $117 billion in MBS and bonds and all this related stuff. They've got $57 billion in residential MBS. So right now, when the housing market, we're all expecting, next 5 years, maybe the housing market is not going to do too well, and they're holding mortgage-backed securities. They're holding like the bonds of like a whole bunch of mortgages. So when the mortgages fail because like inflation is horrible and rates are going up, and people are losing their jobs, or they're just, not getting any more money, they're going to not be able to pay their mortgages. And then when their mortgages fail and MBS fail, then this bank fails, and it's Lehman 2.0.
Bruh, hey, just put one in the head. Let them go, bro. Let them go.
this is what
TikTok next Glock.
TikTok.
That's it, man. It's just like, the thing is like, when you got a lame horse, you do. Take him out back. Let him go.
Look, I mean, do we think this is over? Because don't get me wrong, but that big.
No, this is when the fun and games begins, Phil.
Yes, because this tells me now we're going to start to see the ripple effect, no pun intended, right? Because ripples are shitcoin, but we're going to see the effect. And now we're going to find out all the smaller players that were pretending not to be involved and keeping silent. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to start to hear from them. So,
no, but Phil, to me, what's exciting is it's not just about that things get revealed more, but it's also that the games intensify. That actually you have companies, or maybe even countries, not playing ball. And I have a prime example of this here. Australia basically tried to rug pull China because they sold them some diluted gold. That's quite serious, seeing as how Australia is basically dependent on China as its primary trade partner because they export a shitload of minerals to China. Like that, they're gonna get properly wrecked. But finally, guys, the very final story on REKT. Something that I just had earlier. Oh, what is this? Some old tweet about some special we had. Some guy reaches out. Hey, I want to chat collabs with the the Bitcoin Council of Autism, one of our related Bitcoin groups. And he said, how can I send a DM? I said, well, we don't do shit coins, so don't contact me. And he actually reached out on a separate thing saying, oh, I see you hosted, the PlebUnderground, and you host BitCouncil and blah, 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 and whatever. I said, okay, so he says, no shitcoin. Sent a single message. And I thought, yeah, right, let's have a look at this. I'll show you the screenshot. So the screenshot says, hey, Walton, saw your hosting, blah, blah, blah. Love to chat collabs with a top 60 NFT project with 32,000 ETH traded volume, releasing alpha with OpenSea and the Sandbox game. Guys, if you want to know more about OpenSea, go talk to Corey. I don't know anything about OpenSea. Now, what I said that, look, ETH is shitcoins, NFT is shitcoins. It's pretty funny that you thought that you could collab with people who actually have integrity. I suggest you visit fuckshitcoins.com. You have much to learn. Guys, this was REKT. No one will ever be more wrecked than shitcoiners trying to give us some money, because I'll tell you, go fuck yourself. Fuck off. I don't want your money. I have integrity. Hey. It's much more important to me. Go fuck yourself. Fuck shitcoins. Thank you, guys.
100.
Any final words?
Keep that shit 100, baby. 100. Literally, I have had dudes come to me with capital talking about they want to mine with me. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Let's talk about that. And do you know what they want to do? They want to mine with shitcoin miners. And I'm like, bro, I don't care how much fucking money you have. If you want to mine anything but SHA-256 and Bitcoin mainnet chain, you ain't having it with me. I feel you, brother.
Yep.
Keep that energy. Don't
Absolutely.
ever accept capital from a non-integral source. It's not worth it.
You know what? It's bad energy for the universe, is how I see it. Like, I don't care what kind of, I don't know what your religious or spiritual beliefs are, but you should recognize that taking money from people who have bad intentions is not a good thing. Like, it's not that complicated. Like, I've lived my life like this, and I got maybe, not as far financially as some other people that haven't, but I haven't corrupted my soul, and that's worth fucking more. So fuck you. I don't care.
He who profits by it is just as guilty as he who commits the crime. Yep. So that's legit, man.
Hey, man.
So clean.
To your point, right? You've got a whole bunch of these guys, like the ETH shills, right? Like Evan Van Mess and Bankless. And a couple of the other guys.
Van Mess.
Yeah, Van Mess, right? Like these guys.
It's a mess.
They've been shilling ETH forever, okay? And now we've been telling, right? Obviously, like, look, the SEC can stop your centralized shitcoin. Okay, it's a scam. We've got video evidence of Joe Lubin explaining how it's a security, how investors can maximize their profits. Like, this is completely insane, right? And now these guys are sitting here crying, right? But hey, the whole time though, they've been getting paid like close to like $500,000, some of these people, to shill this crap and other crap. Whereas Bitcoin content creators, and no, we're not salty about this, we're just pointing out the difference, okay? When you don't have these massive marketing machines and all of this funny money because you provide no value, it's a lot different. But we get to sleep at night, right? We get to sleep at night, and we actually get to say that what we're telling people is truthful, and we are not shilling an affinity scam. That's the big difference, So,
dude, it is like shocking how cheap these people are willing to sell their souls for. Absolutely shocking.
Hey, Breedlove did it for like 50K, I think, not even, right? BitCloud?
Oh my God!
Remember?
Yo, scam Greenlove. Yeah,
Experiment, man. It's an experiment.
You talking about big clout, bro? Hey, that
It's an
was
experiment.
a social experiment. If you remember, he said.
It's ironic, isn't it? That like something called BitClout, and he sold his reputation for clout, like for clout or for digital. I don't understand it anyway, but like yeah, it's very special. But this, I think, highlights that there is desperation, maybe increasing desperation, and some people go to bad extents because maybe they've had bad parenting and they don't have good people around them, and all these things. Like society is crumbling. You're going to see more of these behaviors. Us Bitcoiners, we need to do better. We need to lead by example.
Literally, some of these dudes ain't never had their dad teach them what's what, and I mean, like, I didn't have a father growing up, but when I hit the streets and I got my ass handed to me because I wasn't acting with integrity, it didn't take long for me to step up to the plate and start being a fucking man. And the thing is I think that this fiat nanny state bullshit got a lot of these current supposedly men out there nowadays just soft up. Like they say, in good times is creating weak men. Some of them need to go back out and start over. Maybe from the bottom.
Very well said. Very well said. All right, guys, we are moving on over to the Hopium.
The Hopium!
The Hopium is brought to you by CryptoCloaks. Check them out, cryptocloaks.com. Also serving the European market. Check them out, cryptocloaks.co.uk. Use the code PlebUnderground for 5% off. 5% off awesome 3D printed goodies, such as the 3D printed grenade that fits your open dime. You can get the bigger one that fits a full-sized signing device, Walton, signing device. Also, you can help the Space Cat by buying the helmet, Space Cat helmet ornament, and part of the proceeds go to defendingbtc.com. And of course, we will see you all on the moon with the 3D printed astronaut. That is CryptoCloaks.com, and don't forget to use code PlebUnderground for 5% off.
What's cool actually is that the if you buy the helmet, it doesn't just help HodlNaut, it actually contributes to defending BTC, which is a campaign not just to protect people like HodlNaut, but also other Bitcoin people who speak the truth. Unfortunately, there are some nasty people running around the world spending a lot of money to try and punish people who speak the truth, and so yeah, that's why Defending BTC was formed, to try and help the truth speakers in our community.
Very well said. Very well said. Okay, we are going to move on over to, and it's great that we've got HodlTarantula with us today, because maybe he can help us make heads or tails of this Hopium. This came out this week. Jack Dorsey's block announces mining development kit for novel Bitcoin mining use cases. All right, let's dive into this. A new project that would seemingly replicate the Lightning Development Kit and Bitcoin Development Kit projects, providing developers access to Bitcoin mining projects focused on integrating Bitcoin mining into various novel use cases. The blog also describes how the company has started developing their own Bitcoin mining semiconductor chips. I think that's very bullish, and we'll talk about that at the end. The intention behind the MDK, or the Mining Development Kit, is to provide developers with a suite of tools to help unlock creativity and innovation in Bitcoin mining hardware. We see a significant opportunity to increase the accessibility and openness of Bitcoin mining hardware in order to accelerate innovation in the field. Okay. So look,
Bruh.
I definitely think that this is bullish, but you know what? HodlTarantula, you're much closer to the pulse of mining. What are your thoughts on this?
Super duper bullish. You know why?
Please.
Because if there's any way that plebs can get their hands on tools at the chip level where they can institute, what we call variables in get
Like adjust the parameters more finely.
Yo, hey, and the fact that they're working with PCBs and putting out chips like this game changing, man. Because right now we as plebs out here just rely on getting like equipment that is like failing or like kind of cheaper, like that S9, and then you got to literally take that thing apart, reverse engineer the hash board, and figure out how you can kind of play with it if you want to use it for to increase efficiencies, apply it to like a heat capture scenario and in your own setup. And this literally makes it to where instead of having to start at the reverse engineering phase of things, it just is a provided starting point for people. Like example, Coin Heated and other plebs out there who have literally developed fish tanks into immersion units and things like that. Like there's guys out there trying to figure out how they can eliminate a power supply unit and do a direct bus bar at DC 12 volt or 17 volt or whatever. And like they're having to, it takes a lot of research and like homework to be able to get to these points, because basically there's no how-to guides for any of this. We are literally out here just blazing the trail, you know. And so
can I ask a couple of questions? Can I ask a couple of questions so that our listeners can understand a little bit more of the kind of the background? My understanding of mining history is very limited, but I think I am of the knowledge that is it Bitmain or WhatsMiner, or especially Bitmain, I believe, make it difficult for kind of adjustments to be made, that it's kind of a sealed box type plug and play thing where you can't really tweak it and do things yourself. They actually make it difficult to do so. You could argue Apple are a bit like that in the kind of traditional computing world. Whereas this is a bit more like Jack Dorsey's going, oh, here's a Raspberry Pi and you can build your Linux stuff on top of it, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much from what you guys read, that's what I can surmise. And like you said, good analogy with the Apple products. They create a closed system that it's virtually impossible to penetrate unless you're a developer and you know how to get in, access the device, and then at that point you've voided all the warranties on it, and you're you're kind of it's helpless if you don't know what you're doing. There are only a handful of firmwares and other things out there that these ASICs can operate with, and they come plug and play. There are no directions on how you can make any changes to them, and if you do that, you get no support from the manufacturer afterwards. It's literally you're on your own. And so what they're offering and how they're presenting this, that's game changing for plebs out there who like to create and build new things. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, if there are more firmware platforms, that means that you can have theoretically, less dependency and more competition, right? Which is a good thing.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, with firmware, you always have, like Bitmain instituted a firmware that had a back door on it way back. And so there are reasons why guys
fuck
like
your
myself
ASIC if you want to
see.
fuck.
Bro, hey, straight up, because they'll do it. If you're not aware, it's already been done. So that's why, like, this is amazing. What this is going to be and what the potential it has is it's awesome.
So let me ask you this: would this mean that more people could develop chips? Like, would this like, I'm just trying to figure it out, because I know it's a development chip, but a development kit, but I'm assuming it's a development kit against a specific chipset. They're building their own chipset as well. So I guess
Right. So basically, okay, so the chip is set. Basically, I think from what it sounds like, you can order the chip already with what we call pick writing being done to it. And so you can write, like you order this setup and the chips are already pick written and boarded and ready to go. I think what it is it's giving you the ability to pretty much, it's open sourced, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
there's no closed back end from what it sounds like. And that gives you the ability to have those chips work in conjunction with other things at the same time. So like an example is like, so this is normally you have application specific integrated circuit board, which just is things only do one thing.
Mhm.
It's gonna do that, but like at the same time, you could where normal firmwares are pretty much just like, we're only gonna mine Bitcoin, we're not gonna do anything else, and that's it. Well, it sounds like with this, you have the ability to develop firmwares and things that can, you know, in essence, have the ability to do other things at the same time.
So
Do you mean so that then the miners could all switch off, not using the same electricity and do something else or something like that, like at a lower?
No, not necessarily that the ASICs themselves would like be doing a different task, because it wouldn't be an application specific device anymore. But I mean, the firmwares that can be developed for the parameters and what it can do and how far you can take that in an automated way, I think that there's more ability for play there. Does that make sense? Like you could basically say that it's almost, it sounds like it's going to be like brains, but way more customizable.
yeah,
Programmable ASICs.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
And supposedly, also what I read, like one of their 4 tenets for this is that it has extensive support and documentation. So the other piece, I just wanted to explain about this that I also think is Hopium and Bullish is this, right? So we've got What's Miner, we've got Bitmain, okay? We've got, I know that Intel is working on a chip and they are working on a miner. I know that NVIDIA, a couple of months ago, has expressed their interest in entering mining.
ASIC?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. So because, hey man, their chipsets are some of the best chipsets in the world. Right now they're used for graphics, but it's not to say that it couldn't be used for something else. So I mean, if these players come, so my point is that.
So I have.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I have concerns with like, so a company like NVIDIA comes out and wants to, you know, their chips are great at what they do in the environment that they do them in. Will their chips be as great when you line up 100 of them on one board and you subject that thing to temperatures that are, you know, know where they are? So
that brings up a very good point.
Yeah, I mean, like I would definitely be interested to see where that goes and what that's hitting for. But would I buy their first one? Hell no.
Guys, I have one more further Hopium story actually.
Hold on. Before you go into that story, I just want to finish up here with HodlTarantula was saying first adopters will be punished severely. Okay, like that's just a tenet in technical support. It's just
can confirm, baby.
All right, like that's how it works. And to your point, I would not want to be the one touching version 1 of the NVIDIA miner. But I'm sorry, Walton, continue.
Yeah, so the final Hopium story is about Bitcoiners coming together. All this talk about open source and chips has got me thinking about Mexican food. Now, me and T, we hosted, I think, the best pleb party in Miami last year around the conference. It was on the street. We had tacos. It was cheap. You know, we were not very sober. It was 50 plebs. More just kept turning up. We just got these tables outside, bolted them together in the fucking street, and it was a howler. I'm gonna be back in Miami this year in May. We're gonna do this again, T, and we're gonna get some tacos.
The police came and said we needed a permit next year if we wanted to have so many people. Remember?
That's it. So, plebs, if you're out there, if you like tacos, if you want to come to the PlebUnderground Bitcoin Council of Autism Taco Fest Pleb Mania in Miami, then reach out to me or T, and we'll keep you updated.
Yeah, we gotta do that again, homie. That was good money. Too many.
Wait, not when you say good money, we didn't make anything, yeah? Like, there's no entry fee, you just turn up, yeah?
Nope.
Like, this is a
In
true pleb. None of this, like, paying $500 for like circle jerk steak or whatever it is. Like, this is just pleb food. Yeah, solid stuff.
Bro, literally, I walked over to the restaurant owner and said, bro, we're gonna keep this thing open late. Everybody walks in here gets a discount, and I'll make sure it's worth your while. And man, we made it happen. It was good.
See? That's beautiful. That's what it's all about right there. And of course, Walton is forcing me to go to meet him in Miami. So that's what's happening by throwing this pleb party. So
yeah, you don't have to go to the conference. Like, use the code pleb if you do have to. But like, if you don't want to go to the conference, you don't have to. Like, you can go and meet up with a bunch of plebs around the conference. You don't have to be in the conference. Yeah. And like that was the best thing. I met so many fucking plebs last year. I have to go back again. I just put some transatlantic flights on the cheap. I need to get some connecting ones down from. But yeah, we'll be there. I'm gonna be there in 2 months' time. It's gonna be fun.
Bro, I can't wait to see you.
I may or may not be there. We'll see.
You're gonna be there, Phil. You're gonna be there.
Okay.
Even if T comes to pick you up.
All right.
Bro,
all right.
I will come. Hey, you know my truck's a submersible. I'll come get you wherever you at.
That's what scares me. That's what I'm afraid of.
It feels like we don't go off road.
I just stay in my lane, man. I'm good at that. I'm really good. No, guys.
I feel like you didn't know that. My other truck's a submarine, and I go everywhere.
I'm so not surprised.
Guys, whether you're staying in your lane or you're making it rain, this was Pleb Underground. Phil, tell them where they can find us.
Guys, if you want to check out our audio-only stuff, make sure you go over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. If you want to stream us sats, check us out on fountain.fm. You can stream us sats through Breeze. HodlTarantula, how can people find you? Where can they find you?
Oh, they can find me on or on Twitter. No, sir. I'm about to be on Twitter. Twitter's painted side, but you know.
All right, awesome.
I'll be on the beach.
Sweet. All right, man. Thank you so much for joining us. We will put his contact details for Twitter in the show notes. Guys, this was our show. Walton, how do we wrap this up?
Fuck shit coins!
That's right, everyone.
Fuck shit coins, baby.
Take it easy, guys. Catch you next time.